Hello, my name is Dr. Erin Denil with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and today I'm going on my series of how to lose weight in a healthy way, right? Healthy ways to lose weight. And today I'm talking about specifically meal replacement shakes or powders, or pre-made, shakes or powder type thing. If these videos are helpful, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. You can always comment. I will be, continuing on this video series as well as doing lots of topics that will be interesting, that are health related in some kind. So, meal replacements, what is this? I'm talking about the Slim Fast. I'm talking about the medical meal replacements that providers may have for people who have a lot of gut issues. I'm talking about people who are simply looking to cut calories by replacing a meal or 2 or 3 with a shake for a period of time. I'm going to go over the pros and the cons. All right, pros. It will help decrease calorie intake. So having a preset meal is definitely going to help with that. Going to have less calories, you're not going to be eating as much. It's going to be easier for people to digest. You're going to get more of the nutrients and everything absorbed in because it's coming to you in a liquid form or a powder form that's already in the smaller subunits of each of the types of foods. So it's going to have the macros, if you've heard this term macros. So how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrate should you have? It's going to already be balanced out for that. They have some that will be sugar free and have stevia. So there is one brand that I've used that made sure it had stevia instead of sugar or dextrose in it. It's a simple way to just cut calories by replacing one meal. It's something you don't think about. It's easy. You take it in the morning and you don't think about it. Okay, quick, easy, simple. Now, they do have the doctor versions like I just talked about. It's great for traveling. So some people will use meal replacements just because they know that they're going to be on the road and they can take just a little bit, a canister of their powder when they're driving. They can, quick add it to and shake it up, add it to water. One of the things that I do while traveling, I filter my water. I have a Pro Pure filter. I love it. It gets out a lot of the chlorine and the fluoride. Ceramic filters. I have one for my office. I have one for my house. And I will fill up, pre-fill up different water bottles, or I'll take a shaker cup, have a whole bunch of water in the car, and just dump it in. Now, I have used some plastic camping containers, BPA free as I try to. As I look at it, if I'm buying water bottles from, doing a long road trip, if I'm buying water bottles from the gas station, I'm gonna get stuff anyway, so I might as well at least have it filtered first. So, but try to do, as much BPA free as possible. So, easy ways to travel with this, because it's simple. Shaker cups work great. You rinse them out, you wash them out, no big deal. It's a great to just let the digestive system rest for a little bit. It gives us a small break from doing all of the work of digesting food. Some people's conditions, and this would be great to talk to a medical provider for, none of this is offered as medical advice. This is just, simply healthy ways to lose weight, pros and cons of each. Please check with your physician. Or if you have more specific questions, you can find me at rejuvenatelifechiro.com. So this break in eating is fantastic. It really does allow the body to rest if it's working really, really hard at digesting food. This is just one way to simply make it a little easier. It's a great way to kickstart a cleanse or an elimination diet, or if you're making a huge lifestyle transition to new types of food, it's great to do for like a week and then slowly reintroduce better foods. So if you are trying to do an elimination diet, it's good to have this because it kind of sets you up for a little easier time making that conversion. It gives you time then to prep the week of what am I doing? What kind of meals? It gives you just a little bit more preparation for what it is that you're doing, as well as getting your body set up for something, slightly easier. It interrupts your typical eating patterns so that we can induce change. So by doing something like this, it's also going to kick out a lot of the sugars that not if you're doing Slim Fast, but if you're doing like a medical program or a alternative health program where it's a medical grade food, then it really will jumpstart a new change and a new pattern, and it's a pattern interrupt, so we get off of what we've just been typically doing. When it comes to the cons of this, okay, we still are going to need to chew to stimulate our digestion. So when we're just consuming liquids, this can be detrimental. It's actually good to kind of swish it around, chew it up. In addition, we are not going to have this as a long-term fixed solution. Could a patient be put on this program if they're trying to lose considerable amount of weight for a period of time? Yes, but again, you have to be very careful then when you're coming back to regular food. If we don't address the underlying problems with eating, this is just going to keep coming back. We still need to learn portion control. You can't then go back to eating after you've been on a program like this. You can't just jump back to eating. We, as people right now, tend to eat to feel better with food, or we're bored so we eat. A lot of us have done this, especially when we were stuck in our homes, right? We just went to the fridge, because we didn't have something else that we were, occupying our mental space for. So very, very important that we break that cycle where emotionally we do this. I have been a person to do this as well. I celebrate and, oh, I'm so happy I did something great, so I had ice cream. Oh, I'm depressed, ice cream. Okay, so my go-to was ice cream, and then I'd need something salty. So it would be ice cream, and then tortilla chips, and then a little more sweet, and then a little more salty. So it was just back and forth on this sweet, salty combo. I had to learn that food was not going to change how I feel. In fact, the more food I ate, the worse I was gonna feel about myself, because then the more weight that I would gain. So we really have to not use food as our means of processing our emotions. It's, psychologists are great for this. We have to break that pattern of emotionally eating in order to really, get through to the next phase. Weight is about way more than just what we're putting in, because we do have feelings and how we feel about it. The quality and quantity of a meal replacement is going to matter, okay? They're different. They're very different from one another. When I was doing a more medical-based powder that was meal replacement, I was also throwing in a scoop of a greens and fruit mixture that had a little bit of sweet. It helped the flavor. Otherwise, the particular flavor was a little hard to swallow by itself. So there are ways to help make it more palatable. The problem is people can still be hungry, right? We're used to having that full belly. So we might be getting in all the nutrition that we need liquid-wise, but we may still be hungry on these programs. So again, if we're starving ourselves for, a period of 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, we still have to learn how to bring that food back into our bodies in a good way. It lacks some fiber. We still need fiber, so there might be some added fiber depending on the meal replacement, but there's still that roughage that we need. It helps move things through our intestinal tract so they can come out. There is a possibility when someone goes on a meal replacement that they could either have diarrhea or be constipated. So as the body is going, whoa, and freaking out because it's a different pattern than we're used to, okay, the body needs a little bit of time. You have to give it its time. You might have to include a salad with it, something to keep it flowing. If backing up happens, just in general, I love magnesium because it works great with keeping me regular. So magnesium works fantastic for that. If you've been on a program for a long time, in order to go back to regular food, our body needs time to reintroduce the foods. You can't just jump from one to the other if you've been doing this for a long period of time. So it's really good to make sure that you're working with healthcare, practitioner and that we're doing this appropriately. So you can't just have the food and all of a sudden go to eat steak. It's not going to work. If you've been on a program for a long period of time, you have to make incremental changes to go back to eating all that regular food. Now, I want people to be aware of still consuming diet or 0 calorie drinks while they would be, between these meals. A lot of the 0 calorie or diet drinks are still going to spike insulin, which is going to make us hold on to fat, and it's just not as good for flushing the body as regular old water. Now, this is tempting. There are some things that use more of an essence, like a LaCroix, than it would be an actual sweetening agent, but even things like Vitamin Water Zero will still have stevia in it. So be careful at what we're consuming even between the meals, because the whole point of a meal replacement is also to not be eating then in between the meals. So things like coffee as well as tea would be acceptable. Water would be, fantastic. I use a caffeine-free low-acid coffee. It's organic, and so when I never liked coffee until I started making all of these dietary changes. When I got sugar out of my diet, I liked coffee. Otherwise, the only coffee I had had before it was terrible was gas station cappuccino. That's what I loved. That was my vice. Oh, and did I love that, but did it not love me? Tummy issues if I had it. So things to keep in mind, all right? All of these pros and cons are depending on a person's individual situation. If there is a very dramatic need to lose weight quickly, this can be an option. If there is so much gut problem that the person is just exhausted from trying to digest things, this may be a good option. So this option may not be for everybody. However, I'm all for having a nice, good quality meal replacement, or a protein powder, etc. In my next video where we talk about juicing, I'm going to talk a little bit about shakes and how shakes or smoothies I actually prefer over juicing. So I'll get into more details with that in the very next video. However, having that option for a meal replacement is fantastic. When I travel to continuing education, it actually is very, very helpful to have that. Now, some of these powders can be expensive, so I should probably add in there is an expense to it. However, if this is all you're eating, it's not necessarily going to be more expensive than other ways. Now, for example, here, somebody is eating out all the time, no matter what kind of food that they have, unless they're only eating half of their food and taking it for the other half and basically one meal out, 2 people can have $30, $40, $50 for a meal easily. So if one bag of really good powder is $80 and it lasts for a whole week, of eating it all the time or 5 days, that's not so bad, right? That's 2 dinners out for one person, or maybe 4 dinners out for one person, whatever the balance is on that. So just things to keep in mind. However, this is not, this would be my conditional, depending on what's going on with the person, one of my conditional favorites, if someone is really, really, really struggled with their digestion. So again, I'm Dr. Erin Denil with Rejuvenate Life Chiropractic, and you can like, share, subscribe to the channel, or visit me at rejuvenatelifechiro.com. I hope you have a fabulous day.